Alright folks, check this out. I found an extremely interesting article. It's talking about ChatGPT 4.0, which is the newest version of AI, predicting the price of silver for the end of 2024. How cool is that? I did look at the price they predicted, and it is shocking, to say the least. Now, I want to pass the question off to you first. What do you think silver's price will be by the end of 2024? And then compare it with this AI's forecast. And remember, folks, these AIs are programmed to look at all the different factors and variables that affects the price of silver. So it's not just some random guess. Folks, if you want silver-related videos brought to you on a daily basis, then make sure you click subscribe because I do just that. So, while gold has taken much attention in 2024 thanks to a combination of factors including its stellar year-to-date rise, the highly bullish year-end price target which predicts a surge to 3,000. So if gold reaches 3,000, silver will easily reach 40. I mean, that is a huge price target, and silver always does follow gold. Sometimes it just lags a little bit. Its general prominence in the commodity markets and others, which is the other major precious metal silver, has been no laggard either. Indeed, the commodity has itself performed strongly since the start of 2024 and is up nearly 24% in the time frame, with silver price today standing at $29.29, and just recently it was up to $32.50, breaking 12-year highs. Additionally, the precious metal is likely to continue its growth thanks to both various market and economic factors and its industrial importance for electronics, which are themselves thanks in part to the artificial intelligence or the AI boom growing ever more prominent. And yeah, I mean, without silver, AI wouldn't even exist. Despite the many positive developments, silver has been trading downwards of late and remains under some selling pressure for the third successive day on Friday and touches a 2.5 week low during the Asian session. So with the long-term positive and short-term negative trends in mind, Finbold decided to consult the most advanced model of OpenAI's flagship AI platform, ChatGPT 4.0, on where the commodity might stand at the end of 2024. So I'm glad that it does incorporate all the different factors and what affects the price of silver. That is very important when trying to throw in a type of price forecast. So ChatGPT sets silver's price target for the end of 2024. Having analyzed the recent comings and goings of the commodity markets, ChatGPT quickly concluded that silver is likely to continue rising through the remaining 5.5 months of 2024. Wow, so they're saying it's going to continue rising. Therefore, the AI's year-end price target for the precious metals stands at $35. And with the platform explained that the current geopolitical instability, generally bullish market sentiment, overall market dynamics, and technical analysis all push it towards such a forecast, which I agree with that 110%, because every single possible scenario that is going to unfold, not even just at the end of 2024, but for the foreseeable future, it's all extremely bullish. It's not like anything could be happening in the future that's bearish for silver. Nothing, unless the dollar somehow just strengthens over time and it's not possible. Everything is collapsing. The dollar's collapsing. World is, geopolitical events are getting more extreme. The shortage is getting worse. I mean, who knows if our dollar will even be existent in the next year or couple of years at that. All of this is extremely bullish. So, price target for the end of 2024. Considering these factors, the outlook for silver remains positive. Analysts have varied predictions, but a common range is between $30 and $48 per ounce by the end of 2024. I think that's too bullish. To say that it could potentially be $48 by the end of 2024 is just unrealistic in my opinion, unless something extremely drastic and severe happens, which I hope doesn't. My own analysis, taking into account the expected economic conditions, strong industrial demand, and positive technical indicators, set a price target of $35 per ounce of silver by the end of 2024. This target assumes continued favorable conditions without significant negative economic shocks or drastic geopolitical escalations, which, by the way, could happen since we have the huge BRICS meeting in October and the November election, which we all know is becoming very, very dangerous and controversial, and who knows what the future holds. I mean, like Andy Schectman says, if you think the next couple of months are going to be smooth sailing, well, I got a bridge to sell you. So when asked to name the most important factors for the future performance of silver, ChatGPT explained it is the Federal Reserve, much as it did when forecasting the price of gold, and its policy towards inflation, given the effects of interest rates on financial and industrial conditions. So, importance of interest rates, opportunity cost. Lower interest rates reduce the opportunity cost of holding non-yielding assets like silver, and when interest rates fall, the return on bonds and savings accounts diminishes, making precious metals more attractive, as they don't yield interest but offer stability and potential appreciation. Number two, monetary policy influence. The actions of central banks, particularly the Federal Reserve, play a crucial role. Rate cuts typically signal an easing monetary policy, which can lead to a weaker dollar. A weaker dollar often boosts silver prices as silver becomes cheaper for investors holding other currencies, increasing demand. Now we have the importance of inflation. Inflation hedge. Silvers, like gold, is often used as a hedge against inflation. When inflation rises, the value of fiat currencies erode, prompting investors to seek assets that can preserve their purchasing power, which is what silver does, and also the main reason why you should be investing into silver. It's a preservation of wealth, not necessarily getting rich off of it, putting your money into something that holds its value while the dollar erodes in purchasing power. And I'm glad that they are taking note of this. Silver's historical performance as an inflation hedge makes it a go-to asset during inflationary periods. Investor sentiment. Rising inflation typically drives investors towards tangible assets, right? Intrinsic value. With ongoing inflation concerns, the demand for silver as a safe haven asset increases, pushing prices even higher. So the AI also concluded that both, I like how much information the AI gave. The AI also conceded that both a more bullish and more bearish scenario remains plausible, each dependent on what happens with regard to the factors it already identified as crucial for silver's price, which they mentioned the number one was the Federal Reserve. The more optimistic scenario, per ChatGPT's analysis, could see the precious metal surge all the way up to $45, while setbacks could drive it down to $25, just above its January prices. Conclusion: the correction to $29.29 per ounce is a typical market fluctuation, and I'm glad that they asked this question to ChatGPT after the recent dip. It wasn't before it shot up to $32.50. It wasn't, they did it after it just did the recent dip, so it still is taking in consideration all of what's recently happened, right? I think that's very important to take a note, and they even said, or the ChatGPT said, that this is just typical market fluctuation and that it still is on a bullish upward trajectory. I think that is very important to take note of, and given all of the different reasons on why they say that. So finally, once warned that it is based the analysis on slightly outdated silver price of 31, the AI explained that the most recent correction towards 29 does not change the fundamentals and is insignificant for its analysis, which I agree. People are worried that it dropped down to 29.29 or 29 whatever after that 32.50 range that they got they got desensitized to. They got worried and say, well, they gave up. Well, folks, that was just a couple of weeks ago, like not even a month ago, when silver was sitting at 12-year highs. So to think it's just not going to do that again within only a couple of weeks of it, correcting is silly. That's looking at that. That's people that attach their importance of silver's price on a day-to-day basis. So tomorrow you still see it down, the next day and the next day. So it starts seeming like a very long time when only 3 days have passed. You have to step back and look at the bigger picture. This is something that just broke past 12-year highs, folks. Right? I'm not a silver expert on price analysis, but I'm just reading information and I agree with it. This is all information that they are saying. They are saying this, right? Not me. I'm reading it and I'm agreeing with it, but they are saying it, right? I cover articles on a daily basis from experts, from people that are breaking down these charts, and I'm just reading what they are saying. That does not mean that I'm the one saying it, but I still am going to bring the news, and I do agree with a lot of this. And if I don't agree with some of it, like they said it could potentially be $45, I said that's highly unlikely, right? So it's not like I'm just yes-manning everything they say. I agree with what I agree with, and I disagree with what I disagree with. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I thought this was extremely interesting. What do you think silver's price will be by the end of 2024, and explain why? I think it could be the 35 to 40 range, but like the AI even said, it really does depend on how much more severe things get, which most likely are going to get a lot worse, which is probably more bullish than. If you had to flip a coin on whether the bullish scenario is going to happen, or the bear scenario where things kind of calm down and things will go over very easily and nothing too crazy happens, especially with not just the election, even the BRICS meeting in October, where they could be announcing the new currency. I mean, there's 150 countries all joining together in October, so there could be some huge changes by the end of the year, and all of these situations are going to affect the price of silver. So to pretend like, oh, silver won't be 40, you have no idea, or 35, and it can't do that. To think that without incorporating all the unknown variables is silly. But you could also say that and play the devil's advocate for the other side, as we don't know, so we shouldn't be confidently saying 35 or 40. Just to think of $35, that's only $2.50 more than it just was a couple weeks ago. Isn't that crazy? Saying $40, that's a little, I could see why people could throw a strong stance against that, but all I'm saying is we live in crazy times, so expect crazy things to happen and expect crazy prices. At the end of the day, though, what it is at the end of 2024 is irrelevant, because we're looking at this from a much bigger point of view. I'm talking about 10, 15, 20 years down the line. That's where we should be headed. That's where we should be focusing on, because that's where the true potential is. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. Do what you want. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you guys wanted to join the Secret Silver Society, which is a silver group, or a group for silver stackers to hang out. We do a silver raffle at the end of the month. Every month, each member gets a raffle ticket, so you can win silver every month. We have the membership discussion board where we talk about silver, and there's so much in there. It's really fun. Also, Patreon-only videos, so you guys can check that out. And if you wanted to purchase silver, you can email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, or call me 330-485-6172. I got some deals for you. Great prices. I promise you won't be let down. I promise you will be hooked up. And, if you want to buy from somewhere that's safe, reliable, and cheap, there you go. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys later today or tomorrow. Peace.